You be asking yourself, why the hell is there black and green paint all over my hands, Facebook? Well, I sacrificed my handheld wand in a spell. Yes, I sacrificed my handheld wand for a spell. It's a dangerous way to cast a spell, but it works. But in its place, I had to make a new wand. Yeah. So I sacrificed my handheld wand in a spell of sorts, Facebook. That's all I'm going to say to that. I'm not going to say what the spell was for. That's a mystery of sorts. But in its place, I figured, well, I think the very first wand that gets painted in this very first batch that gets sold can replace it. I'll carve out another one tomorrow and add a handle to it and let it dry. But before I paint the rest of them, I want to see how it turns out when it's done drying. So I picked a wand out to replace the one that I sacrificed for that spell. The timing of that spell just seemed right, Facebook. Let's just say that. Although there's a bitter taste in the air when you purposefully do that sort of thing, that sort of drastic action, yes. But much like a phoenix rising from the ashes, you know what I'm saying, Facebook? It's not like, oh shit, your wand broke. Well, pick one out of the pile that I just sort of did and paint it. And there's your new fucking wand. I can always carve out another one tomorrow. I got the stick for it. We'll snip and sand and yeah. Or like later on, you know, I'll have to do it right now. Because right now I'm watching the paint dry in this one wand and I'm seeing if in fact when the handle dries on the leather, if it'll actually harden up onto the handle. It should. Instead of leaving the bark blank, I painted the handle black with the black leather already on it. And as soon as it dries, we'll see. You know, it's weird because when I picked up the stick that I'm turning into my new wand, I held it out in front of me like that. And I felt this sort of weird kinetic balance. It's hard to explain, but yeah. And I felt it with the one I broke when I first made it, yes, but something told me to do the spell that I did earlier. Now, I would not recommend sacrificing your wands to do a spell. That's a very extreme source of magic. Destroying something to create magic with. You know, sort of like the Big Bang, if you will, metaphorically speaking. That destructive force that also creates. And that's magic in a sense, Facebook, when you stop and think about it. The spells are what you create, and the force of destruction is the result of your magic. And just because it's a force of destruction doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing, you know. You can use magic to help yourself and to help others. So being as magic is a force of creation that also breeds destruction. A yin and a yang. Chaos and harmony working. You know what I'm saying? That's the balance of life. That's the energy that flows through everything. Every object has energy. See, Christians call it God, but the energy that exists, that you know it exists, but you can't explain it. It's really magic. And while Christians blindly call it the wrong thing and then worship it in church, like stupid sheep, people of the craft, idolize and let the energy teach and let the universe and the energy around it become your church, so to speak. Instead of sitting somewhere listening to some aging old fucktard talk about some dude that's older than he is, that's been dead for fucking several years. Because let's think about this. The Christians believe in Jesus Christ, some dude that supposedly rose from the dead. Necromancy. Excuse me. Oh, had a fucking cough there. Goddamn. Yeah, Christians will shun a Satanist for using a goat or a lamb in their satanic ritual. However, if the animal is eaten after the ritual, the animal is not wasted, then what's the fucking harm? Satan doesn't like it when you waste animals. If you're gonna sacrifice a goddamn animal in your ritual, you better fucking eat it afterwards. It's fucking wasteful. Why waste meat? Satan don't like that. Oh, then here's a kicker. Oh, they drank his blood. It turned to wine. Oh, wait, that sounds like vampirism. And then you're telling me that his flesh turned to bread and you ate that shit. That sounds like cannibalism. So you got some necromancer who's a vampire and also maybe a cannibal named Jesus Christ, because that's the only way you can fucking explain it, Facebook. I hate to be that guy, but Christians want to make a stink about people practicing magic or crafting wands. Like, let's really stop and examine the hypocrisy of it for a second. Got a fucking hair in my mouth. Ugh. You know what's even funnier than that? If Christians and Catholics will view prostitution as a sin, yet Jesus slept with a hooker, and they're all saying that Jesus is the answer. Get the fuck out of here. Okay, so you're going to sit there and say that, oh, prostitution's a sin, you shouldn't do it. But then you turn around and say Jesus Christ is the fucking answer. That's funny because Jesus slept with the prostitute. So, what do you know? And if you don't sin, then Jesus died for nothing. Loophole. God damn it. Fucking loophole. There's always a bitter taste in the air when a wand breaks. It's a rather interesting feeling. You feel the energy of that wand dissipating and reappearing in that wand that's drying right now. Plus the wand that's drying's own energy charging with it, so it's trying to transfer the energy there. There we go. Very nice. So as soon as I snapped that wand, I could sense the energy hanging in the air after. It's the wand's energy just hanging in the air. Like, you, you do something with this. Okay, put it in the new wand that I'm making for myself. I always snip and send another one for the batch. It's not a problem. But I want to make sure my method for painting these is down. Otherwise, we're going to have to think of something different. I'd rather test her down on a wand I make for myself than a wand that I'm selling. So there's that too. This wand's got hunter green, a lighter green, and black kind of faded into each other. That looks kind of cool. A nice black handle. The tip of the wand's black. Watching paint dry doesn't get much funner than this in Wyoming, I tell you what. What does this new wand even look like? Well, you can't see it drying in the dark, but you'll see it when it's done drying. Now the black paint chemically reacts with the black leather. It makes it hard as a rock when it dries. That's what I'm trying to figure out. It might. And if it hardened like cement around the damn thing, I mean, carving them out doesn't take long, but waiting for them to dry, that's... Oof. And what are the freaking odds? I think maybe I'll play some online pool on Facebook. Oh, a daily free spin for pool coins. Okay, sure, why not? Spin it. You just earned 5,000 pool coins. Now I got like 5,300 some odd pool coins. And I'm like, dude, sweet. I mean, the best way to get paint off your hands, a little bit of mineral spirits and some soap and water, and you scrub it off in the sink, and then dry your hands real good. I got most of it off my hands, but that was all from painting. Just that one wand. I'm like, well, let's go for a couple different shades of dark greens and black and see how that shit looks. And if that shit dries legitly, then if that wand dries legitly, then we in business. I'll carve out another wand in a couple hours or so. to make up for that one that I'm using for myself. That's bound to fucking happen. And it's the first batch of wands that I'm carving for the business, so it's like, I gotta stick to carving another one, so. But the finished results of that wand when it's done drying, it'll look pretty sick. Fucking sweet. As long if I'm showing people a wand that I worked on, it doesn't look like the finished product of anything that I sell, then how's it going to convince people? They're going to want to see a finished product. Take a little bit of toilet paper and put some sealant on the paint so that way when it's done drying it'll seal it to the wood and it'll last a lot longer. Just like there's like a 3-step sanding process and a 2-step paint and dry process. Of course, I don't have to use a fucking toilet paper. I got the little brush I can use to just dip and dab. Paint on a very thin coating of that sealant. It'll make it nice and shiny and it'll make it seal so the paint don't come off. Now snipping and sanding them out, that was pretty straightforward. But the painting and shining process for selling that's a trial and error sort of thing. That's a bit more complicated because, there's a couple of things that could go wrong. And if that paint's wet and it's drying, I got the handle of that wand squeezed to the vice clamp. It'll dry theoretically to the handle of it. Yeah. the sound of a wand snapping in half. It's a very distinct sound. And sacrificing a wand to do a spell is risky as shit. Kind of like doing blood magic in a sense. It's an extreme example of magic. You know. Although I feel kind of shitty for sacrificing it, I know that the sacrifice went to an awesome spell, so it's justifiable. And when I finish painting and polishing this wand for myself, I'll have a product that I can show somebody, hey, this is what you're getting, but in different colors. You know, selling points. I just take like the brush, little sponge brush, and dab on a very light layer of that sealant to protect the paint on the wand. And supposedly it dries clear, so I could probably dip it in the handle in it too when the wand part's done drying. And the reason why I got the trash can right there is so that the paint drips into the trash can. See, I'm painting a wand. That way it's dripping into the trash can and not dripping on the carpet. But the magic videos are always impressive, though they seem to defy logic. Sacrificing a wand for a spell is, oof, it left a bitter taste in the air. But the timing of it seemed just right. Which means if I sacrifice a wand, I gotta make one that I can carry on me like I normally do. In this freaking case, making a wand that I'm trying to sell, it helps people to have just be able to see what they're buying before they buy, you know. Because they could see an Etsy page and be like, oh, those photos are fake. they can see the Etsy page and be like, those photos are fake. Well, that looks photoshopped. Oh, how's it photoshopped when I'm holding one in my hand? And nothing says awesome like a brand new wand. Now, if this paint system that I'm trying to work with works, painting them is going to take a lot longer than carving them out, but and of course, when people see me walking around town with a wand, they'll drive by in their car and shout Harry Potter and stupid shit like that. And I chuckle at these foolish mortals. Harry Potter is an awesome series, yes, but real magic is so much more complex than that. Now, I did a spell or two earlier because a fan of mine, Olivia, is in the hospital. I'll give her a shout out. Hopefully, she makes a speedy recovery from that healing circle I sent earlier. And my friend Summer has a friend who's got a bit of a drinking problem that's starting to affect her friend's health. And if her friend doesn't slow down, it could really fuck up his health. So, I mean, I like drinking, don't get me wrong, but a little miniature pint of vodka every 5 hours, that's a bit excessive. If I'm going to drink, I'll get a bottle, I'll get a mixer to go with it, like some soda or something I need to drink. I'll make a tasty mixed drink and I'll sip on it. I might drink it a little faster if I'm looking to get fucked up, but you know, like the other night on Valentine's Day, I got a little drunk on Jack Daniels. That's always good. You know what I'm saying? Jack Daniels and Dr. Pepper is a decent drink combo. My buddy Phil makes it. Him and his girl, all they drink is Jack, you know what I'm saying? And if he has some and he invites me over to drink with him, I'm not going to turn that down. You know what I'm saying? Facebook, like, come on, someone's offering to drink Jack Daniels with you. You're not going to turn that down. You know, it's nice to have people to hang out with outside of social media, you know. You know, don't get me wrong, I like all the friends that I make on social media, but if you can't hang out with that person face to face, you know, and it's good to have friends outside of that platform, you know. And that's the thing about drinking buddies, you know what I'm saying, is usually if you got some and they're out, you drink with them, and then they'll drink with you when you're out, you know what I'm saying? And if the whole world worked like drinking buddies do, oh shit, well, your country's out of oil. Well, here, my country can share some of our oil. You just get us back when you get some oil. Okay, cool. You know, shit, imagine that for a second. Facebook. Yeah. Instead of this giant pissing match in which country has more nukes, which country has a bigger army, which country has more oil. Irrelevant at the end of the day, I suppose. Highly irrelevant. Because the oil's still polluting Mother Earth, and although cars are a decent way to get around, so it's a fair trade-off. If cars were the only thing polluting the air with carbon monoxide, then cigarettes, and that was it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if every fucking factory switched to clean burning energy sources, it would cut down on the carbon footprint that we're leaving behind right now. And the reason why we're seeing drastic changes in climate, people are getting less and less snow, is because of all the fucking pollution. It's, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to name countries, but there are some countries that are way more polluted than the United States. There are some countries where factories are just burning unhealthy resources to power their plant. So if every factory switched to clean burning fuel, and the only thing using oil and gas were cars and trucks and vehicles of that nature and motorcycles and, you know, chainsaws and lawnmowers and gardening equipment, stuff like that. That's the only thing using gas and oil anymore. Then that greatly reduces the carbon footprint. Just a thought, because I know people are going to be like, well, what about? People are always going to be driving cars, and a lot of people are still going to be uncomfortable with the idea of a self-driving car, the idea of that. It doesn't really freak me out. I think it's kind of cool, especially if you're like drunk as shit and you don't want to be like driving behind the car and shit. Like, you're drunk as shit and your self-driving car is like, where to now, you drunken bastard? Car's like, sorry, I don't speak fluid drunk. You're going to have to be more specific. I could see that being a thing in the future. If you're too drunk to tell your smart car where to drive you, then maybe you've had too much. Oh. Fuck, I just seen the future. Yeah. Now, if you do a spell which results in good things, and then you use the results of that spell to do more good things, then it all balances out, you know. I mean, you see me carve the wand out on Facebook Live isn't enough to convince people that the wand selling business is real. Then maybe holding a finished product in my hand would be just as convincing. And I guess when this fucking sealant dries, it leaves an excess behind. You wipe the excess off when it's done drying completely. And it leaves behind this shiny surface or some shit. I've never actually fucking used it before, so we'll see what the results are. But I'm fashioning myself a new wand to replace the one I just sacrificed for that spell that I cast earlier. Which means to balance it out, I'll carve out one more wand for the batch. It seems I took a wand out of the batch for myself. I mean, it's the first batch that I'm selling online, so I kind of feel like, okay, so I shouldn't have to explain myself too much. But if people see me rocking a new wand, they're gonna be like, "What the fuck happened to that one you were using to fuck with the lights?" "Oh, that one, yeah, I sacrificed it in a spell. You delusional bastard, why?" Oh, you'll see why when the results of my spell take effect in the next couple of months. You'll see exactly fucking why. Facebook. No, I hold a finished wand in my hands, and people can actually see what they're getting when they buy one. Okay, now all of a sudden I got a selling point. Hmm. I give it till about mid-afternoon, or early afternoon. That fucker should be dry enough to add a little bit of glaze to it, or whatever the fuck Mod Podge Whatever the fuck that shit is. I mean, it's one thing to sit here and see me actually carve these out, but then to actually, you know what I'm saying? You see a finished product and it's like, whoa, hey, check that out. Chi energy is an interesting sort of thing. Looks like it's dry enough to where it's not going to drip everywhere. It's at that stage where it's sticky, but it's dry enough where it's not going to drip everywhere. Excellent. Now for making the wands nice and shiny, for after the painting's done at least, I have this Mod Pod, and I'm not gonna apply the Mod Pod to my wand until the paint's completely done drying. I mean, as solid as a rock and not sticky or anything like that. So the two-step drying process of applying color and gloss, but it'll make the final product a little bit better in my opinion. So if this stuff actually works like gloss for paint or whatever, it seals the paint job onto the wand. Cool. After I sacrificed my wand for a spell, I picked a wand out from the stack that I had made so far to replace it and gave it a quick paint job. Now I'm letting it dry. Once the paint's done drying, I'll take a sponge brush. And then apply some of that pod stuff to it. Or Mod Podge, yeah. Let's call it Mod Podge, because that's what it says, Do a very thin layer of it on the wand, and it should, when it dries, it'll seal the color and the paint and the wood very nicely. At least that's the theory. But first, I'm testing the effects of my spray paint on the leather handle as well. I spray painted the handle black to match the leather. And I'm hoping the leather will dry like solid rock. When it chemically reacts with the spray paint, I'm hoping that the leather on the handle will dry solid. Because if it does, it'll produce a very fine product indeed. What do the wands look like that you're selling? Let's see one in person, Hold it up and they'd be like, oh, okay, cool, Whoa. There's like this dark black aura around that wand that's drying right now. I can see that shit pulsating. I'm like, dude, that's cool. I've seen some things that science can't quite explain, Facebook. One time I was eating dinner with my family and I got some ranch on one of my wands. I had a bacon cheeseburger I was eating. So I take a napkin, and right before I took the napkin, I'm like, oh shit, I got some ranch on my wand. Better wipe that off. I take the napkin and I wipe the ranch off my wand. As soon as my wand is clean of ranch, I pull the napkin down and my wand is straight up pointed at my bacon cheeseburger, and the top bun literally slides off on its own by some invisible force. Now imagine the look on my family's face when they're eating dinner with me and they hear me say, oh, I got ranch on my wand, and they watch me wipe the ranch off my wand, only to see my top burger bun just... I just shrugged it off. I'm like, well, I better quit messing with my burger and just eat it, I guess. Put my wand back in my pocket. That was that. Now imagine the look on the people's faces at the table sitting next to us. If they seen that shit, they're just like, did you see that? Dude was pointing his wand at a bacon cheeseburger and the top bun just slides off. How the fuck did he do that? I've done shit like that before, subconsciously tapping into it, I guess. And when you see your power manifestate in real life, it is some surreal shit. It's almost undescribable feeling of how awesome it is. The looks on people's faces when they're seeing you pull some Chris Angel shit. You know what I'm saying? Like some like Chris Angel, Lester Crowley type shit where they're just like, how the fuck do you do that? That dude practices something, because that defies all logic and science. How the fuck do you do that? People have seen me make wands before. They see me make magic videos. And the chance to buy a wand from somebody who practices. That's why $20 is a pretty good deal for these handheld wands that I'm making. I'll post a message on Facebook and YouTube when the first batch is for sale. Like, happy shopping. And the first 10 sell out within like 4 to 5 hours. It's not like you're gonna be completely out, make 10 more. And if you can learn to channel your chi through your wand, I can't begin to tell you how fun that is. Using your electrokinesis and your telekinesis and your chi and your body's natural energy and channeling it through a magical tool of the craft. And watching like supernatural type shit just happen. Lights flickering, shit's moving by itself, that kind of shit. And of course, there's always going to be skeptics, but the skeptics are the ones that are most fun to fuck with because they're the ones that doubt. You know, they're like, oh, this guy's just pulling smoke up our Asperger's over here. And they see it for themselves and they're just like, okay, I have my doubts, but this motherfucker proved me wrong. God damn it. You know why they call it a crush? Because your heart breaks like a Camel Crush menthol bead when you squish it. Because in the end, your heart gets crushed. That's why they call it a crush. That bitter truth makes me laugh so goddamn hard. Now, there is the very rare chance that someone crushed on someone else and then their crush responds positively to what they got and what they're doing, but that doesn't happen very often. That's a once in a lifetime thing. Usually it doesn't work out like that, and it's funny as fuck when it doesn't work out. Best way to look at it, laugh at everyone else's misery because you're miserable too. As soon as that wand dries, I'll add the Mod Podge to it. Mod Podge, whatever the fuck it is, to it. Make the paint seal and make it shiny. And we'll see what the final product looks like.